I fell in love with the one person my family would never accept. I didn't mean for it to happen. Here's the story. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the end. In my family, there were lines you didn't cross, not because someone said it out loud, but because everyone already knew. You didn't question it. You didn't challenge it. You just lived within it. Some things were accepted, some things were expected, and some things were simply unthinkable. And somehow, I crossed one anyway. We had always been around each other, not close, not distant either, just part of the same world, the kind of presence you don't notice. Until one day you do. Family gatherings, occasional conversations, passing each other in rooms filled with voices and laughter. Back then, nothing felt unusual. If someone had told me that one day I would look at him differently, I wouldn't have believed them, because there was nothing there, nothing that should have been. I don't know when it started, and maybe that's what makes it harder to accept, because there wasn't a moment I could point to, no beginning I could blame, just small changes, conversations that lasted longer than they used to, silences that didn't feel empty anymore. The way he would notice things about me, small things, things no one else ever did. Like when I was quieter than usual, or when I smiled, but didn't really mean it, and the way he would ask, not casually, but like it mattered. And there was one moment, so small no one else would have noticed it. He reached for something beside me, and for a second, his hand brushed mine. It wasn't intentional. It wasn't even something anyone else would remember. But I did. Because I didn't pull away right away, and neither did he. It only lasted a second. Maybe less. But in that moment, something shifted. Something I didn't want to name. And for the first time, I realized this might not stay simple. I remember one afternoon clearly. It wasn't special. Just another gathering. People talking. Laughter in the background. I was standing near the window pretending to listen to someone when he walked over. "You look tired," he said quietly. I smiled. "I'm fine." He didn't believe me. I could tell. And for a second, he didn't move away. He just stood there, closer than he needed to be, close enough that I became aware of it, of him, of the space between us, and how small it suddenly felt. And for a moment, I forgot why that mattered. And for a second, I didn't step back. And that was the first time I realized this could become something I couldn't control. Then someone called my name, and just like that, everything snapped back into place. I stepped away first. After that, things felt different. Not suddenly, not dramatically, just enough. I started noticing him too, the way he spoke, the way he listened, the way he made even simple moments feel important. And then one day, I walked into a room and realized I was looking for him. Not consciously, not intentionally, it just happened. And when I realized it, something inside me shifted. I stopped, and I asked myself something I didn't want to answer. Why him? And more than that, why does this feel different? I tried to ignore it, told myself it wasn't real, that I was imagining things, that it would pass. But the more I tried to push it away, the stronger it became. Because it wasn't just me. I could see it in him too, not in anything obvious, but in the way his attention lingered, in the way his voice softened when he spoke to me, in the way silence between us started to feel heavy, like it was holding something neither of us wanted to say. That's when everything became difficult. Because once you realize something like that, you can't go back. We started avoiding each other. Not suddenly, not obviously, just carefully. We stopped being alone in the same space. Conversations became shorter, more controlled. We avoided eye contact and then caught ourselves looking anyway. There was one moment. I wasn't supposed to be there. Everyone else had moved outside, voices drifting in from a distance, and somehow he was there too, just the two of us. Again. Neither of us moved, neither of us spoke, but the silence felt louder than anything else. He took a step closer, not enough to be obvious, but enough that I noticed, enough that I felt it. My heart started racing, and I hated that it did. Say something, I told myself, but I didn't, because part of me didn't want to break it. That moment, that dangerous, quiet moment, where nothing had happened yet. But something could. "This isn't right," I said finally. My voice felt smaller than I expected. He didn't argue, didn't deny it. But he didn't step back either, not right away. And that hesitation, that 1 second too long, told me everything. Then he nodded, slowly, and stepped away. And somehow, that hurt more than anything else, because it meant we both understood what this was and what it could never be. We didn't make promises, didn't say we would stay in touch, didn't pretend we could go back to normal because we knew we couldn't. Some things, once they exist, change everything. And so we did the only thing we thought was right. We walked away. I told myself it would get easier. That time would fix it. That distance would erase everything. And for a while, it almost felt like it did. Life moved on. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. And slowly, everything returned to normal. Or at least, it looked like it did. Because the truth was, I stopped seeing him. But I never stopped thinking about him. Not every day, not constantly, but enough. Enough to know that something in me hadn't moved on. Something in me was still there. With him. I thought walking away would be the hardest part. I was wrong. Because years later, when I saw him again, I realized something I wasn't ready to admit. I had never stopped loving him. I saw him. Just like that. No warning, no time to prepare. One moment, everything was normal, and the next, he was there. And just like before, everything else disappeared. But this time, it was worse, because now I knew exactly what this was. He walked toward me, slowly, carefully, like he was giving me time to step away, but I didn't, and I don't know why I didn't. "Hi," he said, and for a second, it felt like nothing had changed. He stood close, not too close, but close enough that I noticed it again. That same space, shrinking between us. That same feeling, returning without permission. "Do you ever think about it?" I asked. The words slipped out before I could stop them. He looked at me, really looked at me, and for a moment, I thought he might say something different, something safer. But he didn't. "No," he said quietly. "I never stopped." And that was it. That was the moment everything came back. Not slowly, not gently, all at once. "We shouldn't be doing this," I said. But this time, it didn't sound like certainty. It sounded like a question. The next time we met, it wasn't accidental, and we both knew it. The silence between us felt heavier now, more honest. "We can't keep pretending this is nothing," he said. And for a moment, I didn't answer, because I didn't know if I still wanted to pretend. "If things were different," he said slowly, "would you choose me?" My heart dropped, because this time, it didn't feel like a question about the past. It felt like a question about now. "Yes," I said. And the moment I said it, I knew there was no taking it back. He stepped closer, just a little, but enough that I felt it again. That same pull, that same dangerous closeness. And for a second, I didn't move. I didn't step back. I didn't stop it. And that was the moment I realized this time, walking away wouldn't be as easy. "We can't," I said finally, but this time, it felt like I was forcing the words out, not believing them. "If we do this, there's no going back." He nodded. "I know." And the way he said it made it clear he was ready anyway. That scared me more than anything else, because for the first time, it didn't feel like we were avoiding it. It felt like we were standing right at the edge of it, and one step would change everything. I took a breath, looked at him, really looked at him, and for a moment, I wanted to choose differently. "We can't," I said softly, and this time, I meant it. Not because I didn't want to, but because I did. Too much. And that was exactly why I couldn't. He nodded. Like he understood. Like he had already known. But didn't want to say it first. We stood there for a moment longer, neither of us moving. Because this time, walking away felt final. And when he turned, I didn't stop him. I didn't call his name. Even though part of me wanted to. Even though part of me almost did. And as I stood there, watching him leave, I realized something I hadn't understood before. Loving someone doesn't always mean choosing them. Sometimes, the hardest choice you make is the one you know you'll have to live with for the rest of your life.